Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Collaborative, Sonic the Hedgehog Cross Transformers. We have Wingtail and Blue Booster. We're starting out in vehicle mode, mostly because I find these transformations very frustrating, and I think some of the big frustrations will be better displayed from vehicle mode to bot mode. If you saw the short, you say they do compact in bot mode, but we do have, at least in vehicle mode, some pretty nice looking vehicles. Wingtail turns into Tails' biplane. I really like the design. I love the little rocket booster. It's got a clear, like a hard plastic effect piece, which I really like. I wish all the effect pieces were a hard plastic rather than the soft plastic. I like that it's essentially like it's like a fuel pod that's also its own little afterburner, I guess. It's got some sort of solid state rocket in there. It's very funny, very like technology, weird, like weirdly advanced tech for the biplane, but I dig it. You do have a turbine that rotates. The turboprop is not a great rotation. It's not very centered. You can feel how much it wiggles, and that wiggle causes a lot of friction and drag. Essentially, they needed, if they had like an O-ring bearing piece in here, that would help out with that rotation a lot. But as is, it's okay. The biplane itself, I think, looks great. I think the gunmetal up top, these panels look really good. I like these struts. I like that we have this, I called it a turboprop, and it's kind of a turboprop. Like, this is the nacelle. That's essentially the intake. But it could also be just like a piston engine, like a rotary piston engine. I'm not 100% sure. We've got a cockpit back there. The Sonic colors on the side are nice. Obviously, the colors are broken up by some plastic due to transformation. I like the tail fin back here. It all looks pretty good. We've got a, I don't know, that I guess is like on all three wheels like that. So if you need to take off, that's the position you're in. But I do like that if you want to fly straight, you've got this piece. It swooshes just fine. I like this alt mode a lot. For Blue Booster, this is, I know the biplane from like Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic Adventures. I never saw this vehicle mode outside of the Sonic racing game, but it does look like a very cute, chibi racing mode. I think this feels very similar in proportion to that racing game. I like the tail lights. I like that we've got fists here, but it forms like a white bumper. Like, that's a bit of clever parts use there. The red wheels, I think, look really nice. The white paint here and here gives a little Sonic accent. I like the light bar up top, the white bumper. I think, again, this looks nice. If you come closer, outside of the design of the vehicle, you'll see I've got stress marks here. I've got stress marks here. Unfortunately, due to transformation, this piece of plastic seems to flex a lot. And it is breaking down, which is unfortunate. The canopy looks good. The clearance is nice for such a low riding mode. There's a bit of his chest piece. This, going from bot to robot, or bot to alt mode, does require a lot of finagling. Essentially, you have to get the waist in the right space. You have to get this angled correctly, and then you have to get these two hip joints angled correctly to get this to line up. It was a very frustrating experience during recording the short. I am glad I got it now. But yeah, I mean, in hand, it's just adorable. It's just a very small deluxe vehicle. Both of these as vehicles look great. We do have some accessories. We've got what could be a portal, what could be a ring. Either way, it looks good. We've got one of his little spinny extra life power-up little bubbles. I remember this from Sonic Adventure, and I really like that it's got the Sonic's glitter and then the Autobot symbol. I think that's really cute. They can attach to each other like so. These don't really have anywhere to go on the vehicle modes. You have a 5mm port here, which is taken up by that booster. This is a pretty sleek vehicle. There's no 5mm port around it, unless you count like the back, but then you'd be like flipping this piece out and trying to attach it back here. And obviously that is very silly. So it can kind of sit on its own. And I appreciate that it does include, like, it's essentially its own store. So you get these like 3 display pieces if you want to display it in vehicle mode. All right, that is enough about these vehicles. Let's get into this frustrating transformation. We're going to start out with Blue Booster. The first thing you do on Blue Booster is you're going to bring these fists down. There's a tab and a port and a tab and a slot that they come down. You want to make sure you do that. Bring these fists in, and that will let you bring them all the way up, which allows you the clearance and the separation needed to separate out these tail light sections here. You want to push these up, and you want to be careful here because if this is where, if you flex this too much as you're moving this out, that's where that stress mark appears. Same thing on this side. We're going to rotate this up and out of the way carefully to avoid that stress mark. We can come in and we can open up this canopy right here. This piece and then this section here, which is his chest, come up, and that lets us start to rotate things around. What we want to rotate, the front of the car is going to stay the same. The back of the car is going to stay the same. We are really only rotating this middle section here, if I can get it to free up. Oh, you know what? We're not going to do that yet because we got to flip this section out. There we go. Now we can spin freely. Actually, I am going to go ahead and bring these down just to give myself a little more clearance, like so. Now we can spin these sections freely. There's some clashing that you got to avoid. Get pieces around each other. There we go. Again, frustrating. It feels like there's just a lot of little annoying points in this transformation. We can get these arms all the way out of the way on either side, flipping them down. We're going to flip around this head like so. We can close up that chest, close up the back, flipping this section around and closing that up. It forms a nice little backpack and it's transparent, so it really hides itself very well. It's pretty clean on the back end. With that out of the way, we can come in here and, oh, I don't want to do that. That's the thing that I'm trying to constantly avoid that I just did. We're instead going to come in and we're going to rotate this section around, which lets us bring this up without flexing this piece. Oh boy, close this around. Same thing on this side. We're going to rotate the car hood around. That creates the separation we need to bring this around. And see, this wants to like flex around this white piece, which is what causes those stress marks, unfortunately. But with that, we do have Blue Booster in his robot mode, and he looks pretty good. He has some nice things on his fists. He's got a 5mm port on the side, so we can give him his ring shield, which I really like that. That's cool. And then we're going to give him his gun, which is formed by our upgrade little piece. But there is Blue Booster in robot mode. Then we have Wingtail. Wingtail, the first thing we're going to do is separate out our biplane wings. The struts come loose and they fold up. Our wheels can fold up. We can take off our fuel pod. We can come in here and I want to lift up and out. Actually, this can be frustrating also. You can try and get this piece out, but it might be easier to separate out. Ah! Yay! Okay, so yeah, this is frustrating. The grip point to separate these pieces out is this tail fin, but this wasn't one molded piece, it's a separated piece, so that will pop out. That's frustrating. We can come in and we can now carefully bring these up. I'm attempting to do this without any pieces coming off. We can bring up this canopy. We can come in and we can separate out. There we go. These tab pieces go into slots on the back of this engine block. It is also something that needs to line up very carefully and can be very frustrating and tough to get in at the right spot. With that done, we can come in and we can lift up this panel maybe. We can lift up these two panels, those wings, to let us, you know what, we'll get back to that because that's not coming out yet. With these sections out of the way, we are essentially going to take this flap section. It's got a little attachment point that will rotate in and of itself. There is a tab here and a slot in there beneath that little canopy piece. We want to be careful here so that our tail doesn't collapse, and we got to like rotate this in sections. We'll rotate this back, then we'll rotate this forward again, get it all the way in there, hopefully. Then we can come in and we can take these feetsies and we can split them and fold them out. And again, they're like clashing with everything else because this all bot mode is a mess. I didn't even mess with this, but yeah, we're coming apart here. Tail is a frustrating experience to transform. We can bring down the feet, rotate them on either side, flip these legs forward. And you can see they are like sliding out of their joints a little bit. I think we want to flip them this way. There we go. Then we can rotate the whole waist section. Maybe. Oh, it's such a mess back there. Well, we'll wait and do that. We're going to come in and we're going to attempt to separate out these arms without taking wings off. Hey, guess what? I immediately failed. The wings, you know, we're gonna leave those to the side. Pull these arms out on either side. And that gives us room for this chest piece to come down, open it up, bring out Wingtail's head, get this platform at the right spot so that the front can hook back into that neck platform. With that done, we can now get enough clearance, hopefully. Man, can I get something to help me here? Bring this panel up now. Turn this piece around. Bring the panel back down. That gives us the clearance to open this back up and flip that waist around. All right, so now we have his airplane tail and his top airplane wings out of the way. We have his feet the right way. We can bring back these wing sections. So this is going to clip, it's going to peg in right here. And then we take the wing section, we're going to come around, and we're going to flip, connect it, a 5mm peg and a port right into his shoulder. So it does peg in, I'd say theoretically securely, because you're pegging in at one direction, and then you are pegging in again 90 degrees to it. But both of these pegs are shallow enough that they don't feel very secure. That head, yeah. Oh yeah, the platform, it comes loose, and then his head comes loose. We're gonna, can you tell this is frustrating? Hopefully I'm not, overselling this. I've done this, like, the video for these guys. I got this back, like, before we moved, and I've been, like, messing around with them, trying to figure out if I'm doing something wrong, and I don't think I am. I think this is just the design that we are dealing with here. I want to get... Yeah, so, okay. Design point. This platform doesn't lock in very strongly. So trying to get this head ball joint secure means I need to put enough force on it, but also hold the platform in place to get it securely. There we go. We're going to put the gun in Tailwing's hand. We're going to set him to the side, and we're going to go take a break and drink some tea. We'll be back. All right. We do have Blue Booster and Wingtail here in robot mode, and I will say, just right off the bat, let's ignore transformation. The robot modes, I think, look pretty good here. It's a frustrating experience to get to them from the alt mode. It's a frustrating experience to go from robot to alt. Transformation is not great on these toys, but the end results of both alt mode and robot mode, I think, look pretty good. Wingtail here, he's oddly proportioned because, you're expecting tails to be short, but for a robot inspired by tails, I dig it a lot. I feel like he has a lot of the right homages. He does have two tails. I like that the biplane tail splits, so he ends up having some things hanging off his back. I like the way these wings create a little extra height. That is a very fun robot fox cartoon tails head. I like that a lot. It feels very Sonic X, Sonic Adventures inspired. We do have a good amount of wiggle in this head. We do have 360 on the shoulders, but you got to watch out because you're going to want to twist it on these wings, and they're going to come off. So if you grab it at the right spot, you do have 360. You just got to be careful. You can go out that far before things start clashing and popping off. You do have It's hard to tell, but you do have a double jointed elbow. It's just the wing's going to cover up most of it. There is some elbow rotation, but it's going to pop off this wing. So articulation wise, it's a little frustrating figure. There is waist swivel, which I appreciate. There is a forward kick. Backward kick is not very far just because of the mess on his back. There is thigh swivel here. There is a knee bend that is nice and deep. There is ankle tilt. He's got his blaster. Like, you can get him in some poses, but there's just so much kibble on Tails' back that it's a little hard for him to look dynamic. I do want to point out, I like his shoes a lot. The feet design, the fact that it's so wide, it does help him feel balanced, even though he's got such a messy backpack. That is a nice bit of design. Blue Booster, I think, is the better of the two in robot mode. This is a super, like, robot Sonic head sculpt. It's not quite Metal Sonic. It's Sonic as a good guy, but as a robot. I really like the color present here that wasn't present in his vehicle mode. A lot of the white has disappeared. It's now just on his hands. But instead of having a flesh color, which I think is gross, I remember those Street Fighter Transformer crossover figures. In this case, it is this like bronze color. That helps sell the fact that this is a robot and not some sort of Sonic monstrosity. We do get some good tilt and wiggle in that head. Again, it is a wonderful head sculpt. 360 on the shoulder. It can go up that far before it starts clashing into stuff. We do have bicep swivel. That's very tight, but it does exist. Less than 90 degree, maybe perfectly 90 degree on that elbow. No wrist swivel, unfortunately. We do have waist swivel because of transformation. He can do the full Van Damme. He can kick up. He can kick back. He does have thigh swivel. He does have a knee bend that is nice and deep. And he does have ankle tilt. So I think because Sonic is cleaner, he can get into some more dynamic poses. It feels good to play and pose with him a little bit. It's just those stress marks. They do frighten me. Hopefully it is okay. He can like block with his shield as he's running his supersonic speed. I like the way they look together. That being said, I don't think I can recommend these guys. The thing I like about Transformers the most is the feel in my hands, the transformation. Both of these have their frustrations. This guy's Blue Booster, I think, is going to break. Those wing doors, if I keep transforming him, I think will eventually stress out and break. Wingtail just falls apart. The tail pieces fall off. The back half of the plane can fall off. The wing pieces fall off in two different spots. It's not just transformation. It's also posability. They are, unfortunately, some of the weaker crossover figures we've gotten. It feels really bad that, like, I'm not a huge Sonic fan. I appreciate Sonic. I have some nostalgia for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in particular. But it sucks that it always feels like Sonic struggles in just quality, like the quality of the games. I think the movies have been good. I haven't watched any of them, but I've heard they've been good. But then the quality of these crossover toys is also lacking, which is unfortunate. But that is a look at Transformers crossovers. Nope, Transformers Collaborative, Sonic the Hedgehog, Wingtail, and Blue Booster. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!